Hi, my name is Kat, and I just want to share my story with you in case it maybe might help you in any way. I am a Christian. I received the Lord when I was about 16, 17, so that was 40 years ago. I have struggled in my life before becoming a Christian and even after becoming a Christian. But I have to say that since becoming a Christian, my life has continued to improve. The first 16 years of my life, um, I lived in an alcoholic home, was raised by an alcoholic father. He did get sobriety, join AA when I was 15. And gratefully, he stayed sober the rest of his life. He passed away about 8 years ago, I think. And, but, the first 15, 16 years of my life had some great moments and some challenging ones. I don't know of anyone that's escaped from some of the bumps in the road of life. Some more than others, but yeah, so I it took me about 3 years after becoming a Christian. So when I was 17 to 21, I really struggled in feeling like I belonged at a church, or I can't say that I sensed God too much. My older brother kept telling me when I was, 15, that I needed to receive Jesus, ask him to be the Lord of my life, ask him to save me, forgive my sins. And at that point, at 15, I had decided that there was no God, and so I just would tell him, "Get away from me. I don't want to be anything like you." I was not very nice to him, but at that point, my life really started going downhill. I was struggling with my weight. I was depressed, and I was really discouraged and feeling kind of out of control with how much I was gaining. And I could lose, I could go on like a crash diet and lose some, but then I would always gain back more. So that was pretty humiliating for me, especially in high school. And I blamed it on my father, but I can see now that choosing to believe that there was no God is what was actually the most painful thing for me. So I ended up having I guess I'd call it a breakdown, where I could not stop crying over my weight issue. And my mom tried to comfort me and recommended that I ask God to help me. I did do that, and 2 days later, I called a friend and we agreed to go to Weight Watchers together. Well, because of my crying episode, my father decided that all of the kids left in the house. I'm one of eight kids, and most of us were still living at home. But anyway, my father decided that we needed to go to Alateen, which is a 12-step program for the children, the teenagers of alcoholics. I was not happy about going, but I did go, and I found it to be a really safe place to share the pain that I was living in. they talk about God at Alateen, just like any other 12-step program or higher power. And I decided to believe in God after a number of months. And at the point that I decided that there was a God, I remembered what my brother had told me. And so I thought that I would just go ahead and believe in Jesus. It was pretty simple. And I said the sinner's prayer, which was, God, I ask you to forgive my sins. I invite Jesus to be the Lord of my life. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I was expecting, some kind of sign from heaven, I guess. Nothing really happened, but I did tell my brother that I received the Lord, and he gave me a living Bible to read, and I struggled in reading it. I just thought it was super boring, but I read Proverbs. That's what I could handle. And that continued for 3 years before I had a really powerful experience. Well, it was powerful to me. It was very subtle, but I knew God was speaking to me. Before that happened, I ended up dating someone and getting pregnant. And so that happened. I had my first child just before turning 19. And I did get married to that man, and we ended up having 2 children. And the marriage lasted 4 years, just over 4 years. And I was ended up being a single mom for about 10 years before I met and married my husband that I have now, and we'll be married 24 years this December. So, and I had 2 more kids with my current husband. So that's my life. Along the way, just because of some issues that I had in childhood, some trauma, sexual abuse, and the alcoholism, I started a journey of pursuing healing for my life. God started